Hello and welcome everyone to Awake TV Network and to our special show, Sounds of Coherence. I am your host, Dr. Kathleen, and for today's beautiful episode, I am so delighted that I have a very special guest who is going to share her story, her journey, and her beautiful music with you. Juliana. Juliana is her international stage name. Julie King is an internationally acclaimed performer, composer, and healer. She is a singer-songwriter and the founder of Trans Breath Multidisciplinary Wellbeing Program. Julie is a member of the National Academy of Recording Arts and Science, a professional member of the International Breathwork Foundation, an expert in conscious breathwork healing modalities, and a sound and frequency vibration healing facilitator. Julie achieved her popularity in the early 2000s by combining her classical training with mainstream pop music and has created the musical genre with a brilliant term she calls popera. She has debuted solo performances in over 100 venues, including Royce Hall, the Red Cat Theater in LA, and Coachella Music Festival. Her music has been played on over 1,000 radio stations across the world and has reached the top 50 Billboard charts. I just had to continue reading this glorious bio of this woman so you hear a little more about where she's from. Born in Almaty, Kazakhstan, in the former Soviet Union, Julie was trained as a violinist and a vocalist. As a teenager, she moved to the United States and grew up in California, where she earned a master's degree at the California Institute of the Arts before pursuing a career in entertainment. In 2012, her career path shifted when she was invited to Singularity University to conduct scientific experiments on the cognitive behavior of listeners during live performances. Julie has been recognized as one of the leading pop opera female artists and composers of the 21st century. It is my delight to welcome you, my dear friend. How are you, Juliana?
Thank you, Dr. Kathleen. What an honor it is for me to join you here today at Awake TV, Sounds of Coherence. I am doing wonderfully. I'm just deeply honored and wanted to actually acknowledge Dr. Ted Kuhns for making this beautiful connection. And it's just been a phenomenal experience meeting you.
Likewise, heart to heart. And I really love the fact that you were doing this look at cognitive effects of people listening to performances, because that's near and dear to what I've done through heart intention with my research. But, I'd love you to share a little bit more about your journey. And I know that our first piece we listened to is forgiveness. So maybe you'd like to share with our audience today the journey leading up to that piece. Then we'll have a listen and a watch to this beautiful video and then continue the story from there.
Sure, I'd love to. This track is actually part of my album called Popra Soldier. And it was written in collaboration with Walter A. And the music video that you will be watching is directed by an Oscar-winning director, Walid Morsi, who was my mentor from CalArts. And the process of working with the music was incredible because it was my dream to always combine and have this harmonious weave-in way of connecting the pop and the classical worlds. And the message in it, forgiveness itself, is actually dedicated to my father. It's part of my healing journey as an individual, as a young woman, which I had to go through. And the music video was shot in Thailand during monsoon season. And that's another story which is incredible. And I just thank the universe for giving us the opportunity to shoot it, because the day we were supposed to shoot it, the monsoon season started, and all the palm trees were going like this, and everything was just flying in the air. And the crew was waiting and waiting, and we all sat down, called everybody we knew across the world, and asked for people to pray for us so Gaia could give us an opportunity to shoot this music video and send out the message into the world that forgiveness, many of us, particular me, should find or could someday find a way in their hearts to forgive.
So beautiful. Well, I think it's time that we share this amazing video with our audience. So now we'll go and turn to our watching and listening to forgiveness.
I can hear you calling like an echo in the dark, even when the memories are tearing me apart. Every time I have tried to let you go, I breathe again and feel you hold me close. How can I be holding on when all I feel is pain? How can I forget you when I'm haunted by your name? I can't bear living with or without you. I'm at the door, so why can't I walk through? This only be forgiveness, keeping you from me. Could we ever find that sweet forgiveness? Is it all that we need to be free? Even when it rains, I hear you whisper like the sun. You are still a part of everything that I've become. As years go by and the thought of you remains like photographs still frozen in their frames. Could this only be forgiveness, keeping you from me? Could we ever find that sweet forgiveness? Is it all that we need to be free? Sometimes I wonder who's to blame, or does it matter anymore? We get so lost in hurt and shame, our hearts consumed, our souls at war. I want to scream, to be released, to feel you holding me. If I was wrong, if we were strong, I'm still forever yours. Leave me forgiveness, keeping you from me. Could we ever find
Ah, Julie, it's just every time I hear this, it just brings me through a journey into my heart, and just really the videography, the artistry of the way this was put together, so that you're getting sound and visual art through this is really quite amazing. And I know from your story with me, and I want you to share with the audience, this has had quite a lot of viewings around the world, has it not?
It has actually. We won over 24 film festivals, and this song actually put me kind of into the music industry view. We were selected for Grammy nominations for Best Vocal Performance and for Best Music Production and Vocal Production. And it was quite an amazing journey because that really impacted everything that I was doing. The artistry, there's a lot of symbolic elements in music and the music video. And I remember when I was working with Walter in the studio, he said, "Gosh, you're just like Barbara Streisand. Every time you sing, it's always different. It's going to be impossible for me to edit the vocals." And I said, "Well, maybe it's a good thing, just one take shot." That's it. And that's pretty much how we did it. And I remember performing in front of the microphone and feeling it so deep inside me, and just crying, and everybody in the studio crying. And till this day, it's a very, very special song to me.
Mm. I I so love this story and sharing it with our audience, because as we really dig deep into what are sounds of coherence, they come through heart intentions. And we know through quantum physics, and we know through all of the research in science, that every one of our thoughts, feelings, and emotions has an effect. And it goes out from us in all directions, with our heart's electromagnetic field. And of course, through our power of music, it's going out through the frequencies that are put forth from these intentions through the sounds we create. There was also a beautiful alignment in your team that put this video together. So this is what we know through HeartMath has done these studies with so many different organizations, and we now do it globally. Look at impact teams, our environment, one another. And when we come together through intention and heart, we align. And that's where the creation of such miracles occurs. It's not, and I know, Julie, you know this so well, right? It's not in our head saying, this is the way it's got to be. I'm going to write the script. The script comes from that deeper place of intention and inspiration.
Absolutely.
And a script or a story comes through it. But to me, this is a beautiful example for our audience and for so many people who have already heard and been touched by this through your magic, that this is what we're all capable of. And this is a very powerful moment of choice in our times today, through the pandemic, through the unrest around the world, right? We're being challenged. We're being asked to, all of us, go deep in our hearts and our intentions, to create new sounds and to create new conversations with one another, whether they be verbal or they be through our music and art, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And one of the things that resonated with me that you said in your first episode was that the coherent sounds that we create this portal within our hearts that connects us to the higher frequency, with the higher divine and the universe. And I just resonated with you, and I thought, wow, this person doesn't even know who I am, but absolutely understands where I've been trying to go with my music and my craft and the healing modalities, and combining all these together just in this profound way. And actually, I think COVID really impacted everybody globally, absolutely. And one of the things for me as an artist was, okay, this is happening. How can I help? What can I do? What can I put out there to support people who need the support? And so many of us needed the support, and I actually needed it myself, to tell you the truth. And right away, already on March 20th, a friend of mine from Miami, we just went on Zoom and started doing our workshops, and I created all these tracks with different frequency sounds where the audience could connect to themselves and be aware and align with their hearts and their mind and stay in the present and just breathe through it. And it was a very profound process for me. And at the same time, I said, what can I do for myself so I don't get into the depression? Because I had aligned all of these things, studio work in Moscow. I was supposed to go to Sweden to Global International Conference. I had all these things, Ibiza, all these things lined up, and it just went poof in a second. What can I do? And I turned to music, and music has always been my lover, my best friend, my escape place, my everything, really, truly. And my mom always said, who's also a piano player and who graduated from a Kazakh conservatory in Almaty, always said to me, she said, you will always have hardship in life, and you may have people betray you, but music will always stay with you. No matter where you go, no matter what it is that you do, you can always turn to music. That will always be with you. And that is one of the things that I continue to go towards. No matter what it is that I do, it's part of who I am. It's part of my soul.
Yes. And so COVID has brought us, and I'll bring this into the show again, I spoke about it last week, but it's really put everyone in cocoons because of the isolation. And some of the beautiful silver linings I see are these opportunities, because the cocoon is the portal.
Mm-hmm.
It's that time to go deep within the heart, to that place of stillness, which is with the essence of sound.
Mm-hmm.
And Julie, you and I have spoken about this, and I know we're on the same page, that I believe this is an evolutionary time. Absolutely. And at these global effects that are happening, and COVID is just one of things that are going to continue to come. This is when, in past times, the arts always rise.
Yes.
And it is the time for music and the arts to teach more than people have understood them to be there for. So those portals that we get to give people through listening to our music, through having these heartfelt discussions on this show, and having people understand that, all right, you can do the same thing with your voice, whether you're singing or you're speaking. If you go into heart through that portal, your expression of the resonance in your voice changes, does it not?
Absolutely.
Effect. Yeah, my mother had this fun saying when I was a little girl and I'd get a little cranky, and she'd say, honey, it's not the what of what you're saying, it's the how and how you're saying it. Now modulate your voice. And it's such a truth. So really the modulating of the voice, modulate the intention. Check in with your heart. Where's your intention? And so this is a very, very important message as we are now entering September. And we know we're a few months away from an election. with a very deeply divided country, and we're dealing with this racial unrest, and we're dealing with so many things. We can't go in and have answers from our head brain, our rational head mind to this. We go in through heart. And then this is where music has always been there to give people hope, right? To give them hope and comfort through times such as these. So speaking of giving everyone a little more comfort and talking about our heart, I think this would be a divine time to have everyone watch and listen to your beautiful video, Open Your Heart. Okay, so now that we've all opened our hearts, I'm going to lead us all today into a heart lock-in. I want to take us a little deeper in the heart. So we're all just going to take a moment and focus our attention in the area of our hearts. Begin to breathe a little slower and deeper. Go into that portal through that open heart and draw in and activate your intentions and feelings of gratitude, compassion, healing and love, tolerance, patience. We first send them within every one of our cells and fibers of ourselves. For we have to fill ourselves up in order to be able to send out the intentions. For all of us who are watching, part of this global community here, call to mind loved ones, family, your communities, things that are happening, whatever it is. It could be our sentient beings, our planet. And now we lock in our hearts with these intentions and we send them out, knowing that through the heart frequencies and through the cosmos, they are having an effect in creating harmony and balance within this entire universe, bringing healing, restoring order and harmony to our planet and one another. And we all come back together in a different way. Taking a few moments for all of my beautiful listeners, people following us throughout your day, those few moments of pause, those breaths through the heart, those creating intentions and activating them, sending them within yourselves. That is one of the most proven effective tools, the heart math techniques that I know, to immediately turn off some of the anxiety and stress in the brain, quiet the mind, and bring you into a place of clarity and inner ease. Mm-hmm. And also within your own clarity and inner ease, you are sending that out and affecting the field. Yeah. So now that we did the lock-in and we've opened hearts, now tell us a little story about this video, if you would like to share some more.
Open Your Heart was dedicated to both of my grandfathers, and it was during the time when I went back within myself in 2012. I needed to do some healing. Again, it very is connected to forgiveness track that we heard earlier. And I realized at some point that I had to go way deeper and go and start doing ancestral healing. And one of the things that really connected with me is my genes, and coming from different religions. My grandfather on my mom's side, he was mullah, and mullah is somebody who sings the sacred scriptures of Quran. And on my father's side, my grandfather, God bless them all, he was a scientist, PhD in mathematics and physics, and he was Christian, and his wife was Jewish. And so I had this moment, an epiphany, the day my grandfather died, is that I am a product of many nations, of many cultures, of many religions, and the voice and the music. And I wanted, at the time I was actually working on this meditation system, and I remember I had this score out with all this symphonic different sounds, and there was an eclipse happening. And at this point, my mom called me and said, my father just passed away. And the cry of my heart just came out in the vocal expression that you just heard. And that's the story of that. Open your heart.
Oh, how beautiful. I love how you brought in that you are a child of many nations, through genetics. And my grandmother, who I did not know, she had passed before I was born, but she was born in the 1800s. And my mother would tell me the story of how my grandmother always said, one day, humankind would realize they are all one race. They are all one being. She was a visionary, a teacher, and a futurist. Some of those genes happened to come on over here and land. And my mother always said, oh, grandma would just love you. And of course, my vehicle for this has been through the power of music and teaching. But it's true, we are all one.
Mm-hmm.
And I think music and the visual arts as well, all the art forms, dance, poetry, doesn't matter, theater, they give people this understanding. And we see it. We can live it. And it's void of any anxiety, provocative questions. We can just go into that place of ease. And as we listen, as we experience the arts, which I encourage everyone on this show today to do several times during your day, whether you're listening to some favorite tracks or you're watching some beautiful video, something that touches your heart, feel the shift within your mood, feel the shift within your frequencies, within your own being, and feel that actually it creates harmony. It's creating coherence, for that is the power of the arts. Much deeper than people are realizing, and COVID's our time to go deep. So I love our discussion today because you and I share a heart about this. And a science mind as well, knowing that there's a lot more to go on. The human potential is so much greater than people have even understood. And it's through creativity and imagination that we birth it. Yeah. Einstein said, so creativity.
Absolutely. And one of the things, if I may share on your show, what I did, I used to do at CalArts. Actually, in CalArts, Dr. Jacqueline Bobak discovered that I have synesthesia. And one of the things that I experienced was, and still experience, is colors when I hear music and texture. And one day she looked at my score and she said, wait, what are you doing? What is this? And this is my score. And this is what I used to do in college at CalArts, is I would color my music. And she knew that I was not ready to perform a piece if my score wasn't colored.
Oh, that's great.
Eventually, when we would work on scores and she would get up from the piano, she would walk over and say, Yulia, you're not ready to perform this. Your score is not in colors. I don't see the colors. Where? And so on the next rehearsal, I would come back. She would look at my score. She's like, okay, you're ready. So it's just one of the things that I'd like to share for those who are, and of course, the readjustment of going into new school, especially for teenagers who are just going into the first semester of college or university, how difficult it must be for them to transition into that, especially that they don't have the opportunity to physically attend, to physically meet their professors and their classmates. And this might be, even if it's for just one student, might be something that they would use for their work.
I love that. I know that several of the musicians who are in my Global Coherent musicians community have taken up painting, are doing art alongside. So they are now turning to some other art forms for a little time of imagination, mind wandering, I call it, heart wandering, and pulling some things in. I have a beautiful, I want to call it a coloring book, but it's mantras, you know, with the colored pencils. And often I will just take out that and allow the colors to speak to me. what else goes on this mantra, you know? So I think color, drawing, art, we know through people who do art therapy, it's huge. It's so beautiful. And again, that's the power of the healing power through all of the arts and through the portals of our hearts when we connect. Okay, so they're gateways. Arts are the gateways to the portals. Yeah. And as we consider the gateway, I think we're going into the gateway of Gaia. Is it time for us to have a listen or watch to Gaia?
Sure.
We're taking our whole audience with us on this journey, magical journey through the universe today with your beautiful music and stories and your journey. It's just so wonderful.
Well, thank you, Dr. Kathleen, for giving me this opportunity to share it with your audience and with the world.
And you know, I think just give a little of your expression. Share a little bit about that last piece we just heard, and you wrote it, and just share that experience with us, if you would.
I would love to. Actually, I channeled Gaia's song on November 11th, 2019. And it was the first song that I've written in 4 years that was not channeled from pain, but was channeled from love.
Wow.
And I think you can even hear the transition in the voice and the performance and the music and the approach. And the words, the healing waters of Mother Earth, the Gaia. And I co-produced it with a Belarusian music producer and artist, Ivan. And I'm not quite sure if people are aware of what's going on in Belarus right now, and I hope that the voices of the people will be heard. And the music video, actually, I shot in Mexico during Cabo Breath Festival, where I was teaching clarity breathwork, facilitating clarity breathwork for my spiritual mentors, Dana Devi and Ashana Solaris. And I remember standing on the beach and the waves, where everything was happening, and the sun and the rays. And I thought to myself, this would be the perfect shot for Gaia, because within the waves, the wind, and how the words are going, and the music and the message behind it was really just resonating within me. And I thought to myself, you know, regardless of other people saying in the industry, no, you really need, it's new age, you have to be in it, and you need to be beautiful, and you need to look like a goddess. And I was like, this song is not about me. This song is about Mother Earth, and there's a message about the environment. And look what happened. We all had to be literally locked in, going within, deep healing ourselves and rediscovering ourselves, all of us really around the globe. And what did the Mother Earth do? She breathed, she started breathing, and all these new birds are coming out, and insects, and all these different, 100 dolphins were just recently swimming in the channel in San Diego. You know, Mother Earth just said, ah, yes, I can breathe. And I think there's a message in there as well for tuning in to Mother Earth and
yes,
respecting the essence of the mother that gives us the healing, the life, and food and air. And yeah, that's what the song is about.
yes. And it's really bringing in the moments of choice for all of us. And those moments of choice, of intention, of where we tune our hearts, how we tune our hearts, and where we put these attentions. And Mother Earth, our planet, is in great need of this. So every day, this is some place our hearts all need to travel. In whatever frequencies, resonances we put out, we have an impact on healing. So, Juliana, where and how can people learn more about you?
The best way to find me is through breathworksmiracles.com or Healing with Sound on Facebook. My personal information is out there. I am just a human, just like everybody else. I have had people contact me and say, oh my God, you're such a star, and you're just so normal. And yeah, I'm just a human. And you're welcome to contact me if you have any questions. If you want to collaborate with me or do a healing session, I'm available and would be happy to connect. And I love human experience and being a facilitator and holding space for people to go through whatever needs to be experienced.
Beautiful, beautiful. I'm so delighted that you've joined us today, and what a special, special treat for all of our audience, all of our people. And for those of you who are tuning in for the first time, you can find out more about me on my website, drkathleenriley.com. That's drkathleenriley.com. And there is a free downloadable PDF for you there, Intentions from the Heart. You can also schedule a free discovery call with me where we can get on a Zoom and have a chat about your desires and how I could best serve you. So I invite you to tune in again next week. I thank you all. I thank my dear guest, Juliana. I must call you that. I love that name, Juliana. And I love that when you were sharing about your professor at Cal Arts, she's called you Yuli and not Julie. Julie is the American way. So we will remember that. And thank you. And again, thank you to all who are watching. I'm Dr. Kathleen, your host here on our beautiful Awake TV network for my show, Sounds of Coherence. And I invite you to go to Awake TV Network and explore the many, many, many wonderful shows and specials that they have for you to take advantage of. Okay, so again, thank you so much. And from both of our hearts to all of yours.
Thank you, Dr. Kathleen.
Oh, thank you.